All right, we are back. That song goes. You are listening to the Marcus Harper podcast. I am your humble host, Marcus Harper. That was Lady Ray, formerly known as Nicole Ray, off her album Queen Alone. Track is called Do It Again. Definitely go check that out. Again, you are listening to the Marcus Harper podcast. This is the last segment, the best segment. I'm going to have to start abbreviating it with us doing Touch 32. Again, I'm going to try to get you out of here every week by an hour. Gotcha. But this is the best segment. Please pass the show for me. Again, word of mouth is what's going to make this show grow. This is the Thinking Man Show. So if you're asked to describe the show, tell them, hey, it's the Thinking Man Show. Not man, not woman, human. Thinking Man Show, sports talk, some soul beats, and life. That's what I'm going to give you. Gotcha. All right, let's get into, what do we got here? We got Year of the Cubs. Let me get to the Year of the Cubs update for all of those who are just joining or new to the show. We have followed one team and one team only in baseball. It is the Chicago Cubs. It is the Year of the Cubs, by the way. And the Cubs, yes, their magic number is down to 3. Best record in baseball. By the time we hop on next week, they should have clinched things. They are destined for the postseason. So at this point, it's all about them lining up their rotation and figuring out how to play with an edge over the next 2 to 3 weeks. How to keep the momentum going and balance getting rest. Because again, at the end of the day, the fact is you have locked things up. So it's going to be tough to figure out how to bring it every day. So that'll be on Coach Joe Madden to get that done. And other baseball news, I had mentioned not getting swept in September. Again, for all the teams in contention, don't want to do that. And that's exactly what the Toronto Blue Jays went out and did this past week. They let the Yankees sweep them. That has knocked them out of first place in the AL East. They're now in one of the wild card positions, and I believe they're only 2 games up on the Yankees. So, yes, now is not the time to get swept. We'll keep our eye on everything. We'll get past the baseball. Like I said, we got to keep it moving. One random, then I'll get you the Muhammad Ali OG quote. Rapper designer. If you don't know who he is, designer is rapper, 19 years old. I believe he's signed to Kanye's label, Good Music. One of those, I don't know. Anyway, he was arrested in New York. I don't know if you saw this. Thursday night, Manhattan, he was pulled over. He was held in custody for 36 hours. He was charged 4 serious charges, 3 felony charges. Was pulled over, was a controlled substance with the intent to sell. So he had a bunch of drugs on him, basically what they were saying. They charged him with a loaded firearm. They charged him with pointing the gun at someone. And this is where this all stemmed from. Someone, I guess, picked up the phone and said, was driving down the road and said, designer, I guess, stuck a gun out the window and pointed at them, whatever. So police swarm in on him, pull him over. He's being driven. He's an Uber driver, whatever. Pull him over, pull him out the car. Turns out, anyway, pull him in Thursday. Saturday, when he finally gets arraigned, he goes to Raymond, has his lawyer. Turns out there was no gun, so they had to throw that firearm charge out. They still have not thrown out the waving the gun and terror threat, whatever that charge was. I don't see how that charge is still sticking. And then the drugs, all of the drugs, the intent to sell. Well, it turns out the driver was a security dude, rather swole security dude. And the drugs in the car were anabolic steroids. So really just a bunch of steroids. A bunch of different pills, different things like that. But they all belonged to the driver. Driver had a duffel bag full of steroids. Yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully this entire case gets thrown out. This is wild. Designers come out and said, hey, this is what happens when you're young and black and successful. And with a story like this, and if you look at the charges versus what the actual facts are, yeah, this shouldn't go on any further. This should be done by the end of the week. This should all be thrown out. It's wild, man. It is wild. In New York, young, black, hey, be careful. Be careful. Be extremely careful. All right, let me get you over to the OG quote of the week, and then I'll get you out of here. Dave Chappelle, Muhammad Ali, OG quote of the week comes from Dave Chappelle. Again, with sports, with what is going on in the landscape of sports, especially in the NFL. We just passed 9/11. We had our game one. You had, again, Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, other players taking a knee, throwing up a fist, doing all these different things. It took me to a Dave Chappelle quote, and I'll get to the quote at the end, but Dave Chappelle was asked about his honesty. It was an interview he did, and he asked about, him being honest and how he may rub people the wrong way, and he may offend certain people. And Dave Chappelle said, hey, one of the things I do is, I try to bring honesty in my shows. And he said, I think America needs to have an honest discourse with itself. And he said, it's like we are the greatest country in the world by default. And he said, we could actually be the greatest country that ever existed if we were just willing to be honest about who we are and what we are and where we want to go. And if we can learn to have that honest discourse, then we'd have something. We would have true progress in this country. He said, he talked about crossing lines. He talked about different things. He was talking to a group of college students, and he was talking about crossing lines. And he said, what is life if nobody crossed lines? He said, hey, I get reeled in by my family, by friends, different people. But he said, you have to learn, you got to live and learn. He said, but what is life if nobody's crossing lines? You just want to make sure you're on the right side of history. Because sometimes what you're doing in the immediate and in the present is not as important as what it will be in the future and long term. And that made me think of Colin Kaepernick, again, taking the knee, focuses on what he's doing right now, but his goals are long term. He's trying to fix a much bigger thing. Very, very good interview with Dave Chappelle. The OG quote of the week, Muhammad Ali OG quote of the week, comes from David Chappelle, and it goes just like this. Dave Chappelle said, the truth is permanent, and everything else will fall by the wayside. So yes, sign stitch, Dave Chappelle, the truth is permanent, and everything else will fall by the wayside. Yes. All right, that is my time this week. Thank you. I want to thank my mother. Thank you, Pops. Thank you to my brothers, to my nephew and niece, my pride and joy. Love y'all. To my Morehouse bros, Penthouse, Fab Five, all my Morehouse bros out there, thank you. To my West Coast family, shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to Dex, the super producer. West Coast family, you know who you are. Appreciate y'all as always. To my real life family in the great Northwest, shouts out to y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate you supporting. To all my cities, Philly, New York, DC, Dallas, Nashville, Florida, Florida's a state. All the other cities, Jersey, everybody out there, shouts out to you for listening. Thank you. To all my people here in Atlanta, thank you as always. Atlanta, Augusta, Savannah, all parts in between, thank you for listening. Health, wealth, love, peace, and happiness. That is all I got for you. Again, thank you for listening to the Marcus Harper podcast. We will be back next week. I am your humble host, Marcus Harper. Life is good.